Okay, so just to quickly review, last class we did two main things. We did very basic algebraic expressions, which is the ones with all the letters, and we did a lot of solid figures. We did nets, and we identified different parts of it. Today we're going to be starting ratio and fractions. And first, I just want to get everyone introduced to the concept of ratios and fractions. You probably know what fractions are by now, and ratios are actually something pretty different than fractions, but fractions can be used to solve ratios and vice versa. So they're very closely linked, even though they are not the same thing. And we're going to start with this. This is not a question, more of just illustrating what it's like. If anyone wants to follow along, this is textbook, chapter 3, ratio. So first off, we can see from this example that they give us that Susan and Mary bought a present which cost $50. Susan, being the elder sister, paid a bigger share of the cost. And the ratio of the cost that they shared is 3 to 2. Now, first I want to make note of the symbol we see in between the numbers. That is a colon. In English, you may use colons for making a list. You might use it for what else? Like giving examples. But in math, when we see a colon, this denotes a ratio. So in this instance, when we see this colon, we can basically say we have 3 parts. We don't know what a part is, but we have 3 parts, and we have 2 parts. Now, instead of writing parts, does anyone else know what we could write here? Send your answer in chat to me. And what I'm referring to is chapter 1, algebraic expressions. What's another way we could write this? Instead of writing, it's like we write something else here. Well, what can we write instead? Anyone have any ideas? It doesn't look like it. So a way we can write this is by using x instead, right? One of our variables. Now, this basically means the same thing. So whenever you see 3 to 2 with this colon in the middle, it means that there is 3x on one side and 2x on the other side, or just variables in general. Just to make sure everyone understands the concept, we're going to go for a quick and easy problem. You can title the answers. You can title your answers 1A. No, 1B and 1D. Yeah, so once again, just send me the answers to the first 2 questions. For a few more answers. Okay. One or two more answers. We're almost done. All right, looks like we're waiting for one final person. Okay. So yeah, you guys seem to have the general understanding then. I just want to point one thing out. It's very important you do the ordering. The answer to D, it is not 3 to 4 to 5. This would be bananas to apples to oranges. But they're asking for apples to bananas to oranges. So we end up with 4 to 3 to 5. All right, so it is incredibly important that you give your ratio in the same order of the stuff that they told you to do. All right, now moving on to some slightly more difficult problems. Give me a sec, I gotta scroll down. All right, so I think you guys all did simplifying fractions on our last homework. So I definitely know you guys can do that. So this should be a breeze, but I'm just gonna suspend some. Somewhat easy problems. Ignore the stuff in the bottom right. I'll cross that out quickly. How do I make this bigger? Oh, this is how clear it is. Okay, this is it. All right, sorry about that, technical difficulties. All right, yeah, so just sending the answer to this first question. Very few more of this sort. For the first one, for this first question, I'm going to be giving you this little format here, right? For the rest of them, I'm just going to be giving you the problem itself, and then you have to solve that. All right, so yeah. You guys are just sending me, you're just repeating the same thing, but I want you to simplify this, right? Like as if it's a fraction. So how can we get this to the smallest number? Because when I see this big of a number, it just like, it's very difficult for me to comprehend it. But if we divided everything by 5, right, then we would get 7 to 9 to 16, and this would be much easier to work with, right? So I want you to, in ratios and fractions, always try to simplify as much as you can. I don't think we'll be doing any problems this year, or I don't think you'll be doing any problems within like the next 2 years, which require you to keep your fractions a bit longer. That's usually done for like strategic reasons to save time. But yeah, for now, you just simplify every ratio and fraction you're given. Now, yeah, so since I kind of gave the answer to the first question just as an example, I'm gonna send like an actual question now that you guys have to think carefully about. I'm gonna label this question 1. Please, I'm gonna type out your answer, but don't send it to me yet because I'm gonna be sending a few more problems, and I'd prefer if everyone sent me the answers in a single batch. This is the second question. Get working on that. Yeah, just these 2 questions for now, and then we're gonna move on to fractions in the context of ratios. So we've done ratios, and like we're doing that now, but I'd like us to do fractions and ratios at the same time. A bit extra. Yeah. I'll wait for a few more answers and then I'm gonna go over these problems because we're having a bit of difficulty with them. So I'll find out. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna start going over these. We're having a bit of problem with the second one, and the first one I think we're misordering it. So first, the first question, okay? David has $240. And of these $240, he spends $40 on food. He spends $120 on books. And he saved the rest. All right, now so let's see how much did he save. So if he used 240, if he had 240 and he used 120 for food and 40 for books, that means he used 160, and that means he saved 80. Now let's see what ratio they're asking us for. They're asking us for money spent on food to the amount spent on books to save. And so that happens to work out because I did it in that order. So just 40 to 120 to 80. However, that is not enough, right? We gotta get a full answer to this. We have to simplify this. When we simplify it, we divide it by 40 and we get one difference to do. Keep in mind you do not have to you don't have to divide it by 40 immediately. It might be a bit difficult for you to spot that it's divisible by 40, but you can definitely spot that there's a 0 at the end of all of them, and you could divide by 10, and then you might notice from there that it's divisible by 4. So yeah, as you do more and more problems, you'll recognize how this is easily divisible by 40. Question 2. I think a lot of people didn't really critically think about this question. We have 60 by 40. I will give you that the question's a bit confusing because it doesn't tell you which one's the length and which one's the width. Width, how do you pronounce it? Width. I think it's width. I don't know. Sounds weird. This is the length. And this is the width. Second number is that. I don't think I explained this, so that's my bad. But still, a lot of you did not solve the second part, which is the perimeter. We have length, width, and then to perimeter. Now, what is the perimeter? The perimeter, since this is a rectangle, if this is this is not straight, sorry. Actually, I'll take a rectangle from here. How about that? Let's see, rectangle. This is a square, not a rectangle. I was looking for a rectangle. Is this rectangle? Yeah, this is a rectangle. All right. This is a square. This is a rectangle. All right. So we've established the length is 60 and the width is 40. So if this is a rectangle, then this side is also 40. The top side is 60. And then if you add all this together, which is what the perimeter is, if we add all this together, we get 200. So our ratio becomes 60 to 40 to 200. And after simplifying, we can divide it by 20. We get 3 to 2 to 10. And it doesn't, I don't think anyone got that answer. Did anyone? I'm gonna check quickly. Yeah, doesn't look like anyone got that answer. Yeah, so just shows how a question that seems easy, right? Like this one's super easy. All you had to do is simplify. But once we get deeper down into the questions, when you have to solve the perimeter as well, these questions can actually get pretty difficult. So since we had a bit of difficulty on that, I think we're gonna pause on the textbook for a sec because our next bit is going to be applying fractions to it. I think we're going to jump into the workbook quickly because I think we're having a bit of trouble with this. Just a few questions to make sure we understand it. Okay, so first we are going to do this. Let's see, pasting it in. All right, this is 2A, and then this is 2B. If anyone wants to follow along in the workbook, if anyone wants to follow along in the workbook, we're on exercise 8 right now. Yeah, so solve question 2 and then solve question 3. And then there's no questions. Actually, I'll put question 3 down here yet. We're not going to do it yet. Yeah, I'll just keep it like this. Sorry about that. The screen share button's in the way. I can't click on the extend page. All right, yeah. So this is questions 2A and B. Solve those quickly. And then we're going to work on simplifying ratios to its simplest form because I've gotten a lot of answers which aren't fully simplified. So we're going to do that as well. We're going to label this as question 3. And then we have A, B, C, D. Yeah, so give me 2A, 2B, 3A, 3B, 3C, and D. If you want, you can send question 2 in one message and question 3 in the next, just to speed it up. Yeah, so it definitely looks like we're not really seeing patterns of simplification. So we're going to go over that in the exercise below. Okay, so I'm gonna go over question one. Um, Actually, no, not yet. Once you guys send me your answers to the second question, I'll go over question one. Okay, so it doesn't look like we had any trouble with the second part, right? Because the second part is just simplification, right? So I don't think I didn't really expect anyone to have trouble with the second part. The first part though, we had two problems with. Number one, we just had some problems solving the actual ratios, and secondly, we had some problems simplifying them. So for this, I'm going to uh, move down a bit because we don't have that much space. I'm going to drag this question down a bit more. And I'll drag this question down. All right, that looks good. And I have this space to work with. Okay, so we have Peter, Henry, and John, and all of them combined have $345. Peter gets 45, Henry gets 75, and John gets everything else. So let's first solve how much did John get. Well, if we know they totaled 345, then, sorry, I'll move this back down a bit. Then if we subtract 45 plus 75, which is what everyone else got, we would have our answer. Does everyone understand how I obtained this equation? Just to clarify, John has the rest of the money. So since the total is this, we can subtract what Peter and Henry got. Now, when we solve this, we end up with the result John equals 225. Yeah. Now start solving our ratios now that we have all the numbers. First, let's solve Peter to Henry to John. Peter to Henry to John is the same as putting all the numbers next to each other. And what are they divisible by? Once again, you guys probably can't tell this, but you guys can divide by 3 and then 5, but I can just tell it's divisible by 15. So we get, wait, 3 to 5 to this divided by 15 is, I'm blanking, 15, I think. Oh yeah, it's 15 squared. That's so easy. Okay, yeah. And then this is our final answer, I believe. Did anyone know? Yeah. Yeah, some people had a bit of trouble simplifying everything. But yeah, this is the answer to the first part. The second part, though, we had quite a few wrong answers. So let's solve why that was. John to the total amount of money. All right. So John's share was 225 and the total was 445. I cannot tell what this is divisible by off the top of my head. Wait, I can. It's divisible by 15. Yeah, we get 15, and then this is divisible by 15. We get 23. Yeah, so a lot of people got 45 to 69, and 45 to 69. You aren't wrong. That is the ratio it is, but we're gonna simplify it because it makes it much easier. So yeah, just try to simplify. Now we are going to do some more ratios because I think I have a little bit more trouble on this. I want you to give me 4 answers. I want you to give me answers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, what are these answers? 1 is A to B, 2 is A to C, 3 is B to C, and I want you to give me A to B to C. Now, this isn't as easy as it looks because remember, I want this in simplest form. That is a horrible line. Let's just pretend it's a good end. Yeah. All right, great job, everyone. We had a slight bit of issue on questions 2 and 3. I can go over them very quickly. A to C equals 6 to 12, and 6 to 12 is the same as 1 to 2. Our answers to the other one should have been 3 to 4, 2 to 3, and 3 to 4 to 6. And just to clarify, B to C was 8 to 12. And A to B to C was 6 to 8 to 12, and A to B was 6 to 8. And then we should have simplified them all and got the answers on the left. All right, give me 1 second. Well, I think we're going to move on to fractions now. And by fractions, I'm not talking about basic fractions. I'm talking about fractions in the context of ratios. First, I'm just going to give an example. There is a blank in this problem. I'm not going to be asking you to solve for. I'm just going to fill it in. I just want to make sure everyone understands this. So let's see. We have a length A and a length B. A is 2 long, B is 5 long. As you can see in part 6A, we can see that the ratio of length A to the length of B is 2 to 5. And the ratio of length A to the total length of A and B combined, which would be 2 plus 5, is 2 to 7. The length of A is 2/7 of the total length. The length of B is 5/7 of the total length. And the length of A is 2/5 of the length of B. I'm just going to quickly go over fractions, just in case anyone doesn't understand them. When we have a number x over y, I'm just using variables from our algebraic expressions. X is called our numerator. You don't have to know this. And y is called the denominator. denominator. All right. So basically, denom means like identifying, kind of, because like a denomination is like what sort of religion you are, kind of just identifies you. So if the bottom number identifies what sort of fraction the top one is. For example, if it's x over 4, it's fourths. We don't know what x is, but we know it's fourths. X over 5 would be fifths. X over 2 would be halves, etc. Numerator is just as in like numeral and stuff like that. It just means the number. So it's the number on the top is like the actual amount of stuff, and the number on the bottom is tells you what sort of stuff it is. In context of a whole, right? So when we see question D here, well, it's not question D, but like example D, we're talking about B to the total length. And we can actually take this as if it was a ratio. And since it's 5 to 7, we can say it's 5 over 7 because there's 7 pieces total, and then it's 5 on the top. I just want to make sure you understand that you can't always do ratios. If I told you, what's the ratio of, I'll give an example actually. If we have 5 apples, these are not apples, but pretend they are. If we have 5 apples and we have 2 bananas, these are, wait, no, bananas are, yeah. 2 bananas. These are my bananas, yeah. You can, and I ask you apples to bananas. You cannot give me the answer of 5 to, wait, that you can't give. You can't tell me it's 5 over 2. Because this would be implying something that you can't really imply. However, if I told you that there were 5 apples, and there were 2 bananas, same as the example above, and I was asking you apples to total, you could say 5 out of 7, because this question in reality is asking express the number of apples to the total number, right? So out of 7, because this is kind of mean is out of, we have 5 apples out of 7 fruits. You can't say 5 apples out of 2 bananas though, because apples aren't bananas. So yeah, you can't compare separate things. You got to make them into the same type of denomination so you can actually compare them. So this question first. I'm gonna wait for like two more answers and then yeah. Um, okay, so I'm gonna start off by I think I'm gonna skip the first two questions. It doesn't seem like anyone had trouble with the first two questions. I'm gonna go over the last question though. So everybody seems to have gotten everyone seems to have gotten the correct sorry, I don't know how to phrase this. The correct numbers. All right, yeah. But I don't think you're reading the questions correctly. So it's asking the fraction of length of string A and length of string B. So we've got to be very careful with what they're asking. The key word here is of. They're asking B compared to A, right? They're actually asking what fraction of A is B. So they're asking about B to A. This would be like saying, what blank of blank is blank, all right? If they're asking like what percent of 100 is 20, the answer would be 20%, not 500%. If I'm not actually sure if you even learned about percents. So that might be a bad comparison. But sorry, I don't even know if you guys done that. Okay. What multiple of, we're just gonna pretend this is multiple, not x, this is like multiple. What multiple of 6 is 12? The answer isn't 1/2, the answer is 2, because it's asking of 6. So the last question, it would not be 3/1, it would be 1/3. Some people did get that though, so very good job. Now I'm going to give you guys a load of questions. Okay, great. Everyone's answers are in. We are now going to be moving on to some more ratio and fractions things. Now we're going to be using ratios in the context of solving more difficult problems. I'm going to start off with this one. You should be able to understand this. If too many people get it wrong, I'll go over it. If not, we can just move right on. It's not really that difficult. There's some more difficult ones later on. And this question, I will label them for now. Just solve them for right now. Just solve them. I will label them in like 5 seconds. Just a heads up. Um, I'm going to be posting the homework, but I just want everyone to understand that the homework isn't actually going to have numbers this time because um, I don't think you need, because like I think you guys get the point by now, so you can add the numbers yourself. Honestly, you could just just add the numbers yourself this time. It's not that much work because for homework today you're just gonna have two big sections, and I think it's kind of pointless to add you guys a homework in that way. Um, we'll however make a doc for you guys because some people have a bit trouble with that. Yeah, everyone's answered the first question, looks like. Some people have done the second one as well, which is great. Let's see, what do I name this usually? Homework and then the week. All right. So I also think that this week you guys aren't going to have any work in the workbook. It's just going to be a bunch of stuff in the textbook. And I think that's how we're going to do it this week. Seems to be the best way. Seems like we're almost done. Just a few more people finishing the last question up. All right, the homework is posted. You guys can start working on that if you finish the last question, because I know there are still a few people working on that, but everyone else can start working on the homework. Oh, I forgot to add a date to it. And I forgot to attach a PDF. All right, sorry about that. Give me like 1 second on the homework. I messed it up. Let's add a Google Drive file. Make a copy Oh, wait, I have to delete this, don't I? Oh, okay. Don't look at the most recent thing. I have to delete it, unfortunately. Delete. All right, I'll make a new one. Hopefully this one works out. Textbook, finish all of practice VB. Homework week 20. Hopefully this file works this time because making a copy is so much work. All right, made a copy for all of you. Great. All right, homework should be posted again, and this time, hopefully it should work. Yeah, you guys can work on the homework now if you have finished the last question, because one person is still working on that one. Okay, yeah. Okay, so everyone can start the homework. That's it for class today. I'm just gonna, I think next class, we're probably going to go over the big review, do a quick section, finishing up ratios, and then we'll be moving on to the next section, which is, I believe it's decimals or percents. I'm not completely sure which one. But yeah, on that note, you guys can all head out now.